Welcome to another monthly market update for the month of May. We're here to bring you kind of some in-depth info on what the current interest rates are, home prices, days on market, inventory, and kind of put that all together for you. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, you'll know how that affects you. So again, we are the Realtor Family. I'm Melissa. And let's kind of get started. Just so you know, during this video, if you have any questions, whether you're watching it live or the replay, feel free to put them in the comments and I will get to them during the video or right after. If you know of anybody that might be considering buying or selling, feel free to share this with them so they can get the information as well. And if you could do me a huge favor, and again, whether you're watching this live or the replay, put in the comments below what city you live in. We like to see where our audience is at, kind of what areas we should be focused on. And it also just helps us out to see who's out there watching. So, all right, so let's get into it. So let's start out right now. I'm going to talk about interest rates. So for the month of April, so last month, the average interest rate was 4.14. Now, of course, this is going to vary greatly depending on, maybe not greatly, but this will vary depending on your lender and your own personal situation. But that was the average interest rate for last month. Now, when we look at the month prior in March, it was 4.27. And we look at a year ago, April 2018, it was 4.47. And again, it came in at 4.14 for the average interest rate for the month of April 2019. So we're seeing a decline in interest rates, which is awesome, right? This is actually a win-win for both buyers and sellers. So we saw interest rates rise throughout 2018, and then they reached about 4.9%. And now we're seeing them continue to trend down, which is super awesome. If you're a buyer, the lower interest rates are, the more of a home you can afford, the farther your money will stretch. And this is great for sellers too, because that will put more buyers in the buyer pool, which will help you out when you're trying to sell your home. Another little side note on that, the lack of inflation has encouraged the feds to keep rates where they're at, and it's actually speculated that we won't see another rise in interest rates this year, which is super awesome. So just an update on the interest rates, really good news there. All right, now let's talk about home prices. So again, for a need to study a certain market and to give you some more detailed info rather than just going nationwide, we're analyzing the Inland Empire in various cities within that. So when I talk about home prices, we want to look more at the trends rather than the actual number. As we know, home prices can vary greatly just depending, even in the same city, depending on what neighborhood you're in. So for April last month, the average home price of the Inland Empire, at least the cities within the Inland Empire that we are analyzing, was $455,000. Now, a month prior, it was $445,000. So we are seeing them tick up a little bit. A year ago, they were $440,000. So not a drastic increase, but an increase nonetheless. The second half of 2018, we saw prices go down, but then when the new year hit, they started going up, and they're still continuing to go up, even if it's a slight increase. So this is really good for sellers, right? If you're thinking of selling your home, you want home prices to be going up because obviously that means you'll get more money. So if you're a seller, great news there. Home prices are trending up even if it's gradual. Okay, let's talk about days on market. So days on market means the amount of days it takes from the time your home is listed on the market to sell to the date you have an accepted offer. So this is really important if you're a seller, right? You don't want the market to take 6 months to sell a home. So when we look at last month, the average days on market for homes to sell was 26 days. The month prior, it was 27 days. And so it is going down a little bit, which something to note there, earlier this year, it was more like 37 days. So it is dropping a decent amount. When we look at a year ago, however, it was 15 days, April 2018. So we are seeing, again, the numbers finally dropping on days of market, but they're still almost double than what they were a year ago. This isn't, obviously, if you're a seller, it's good news to see the days on market dropping again. It's not the end of the world that they're not at 15 days still. But just to give you an idea of how long homes are sitting on the market is nearly a month, however, trending shorter and shorter as we go. Again, that days on market is going to very much depend on the agent that you hire as well. Shameless plug, we our average is 14 days at the moment, but it's just going to depend on so many different factors on that one. So okay, let's move on to inventory. So when we say inventory, we're talking about the amount of homes that are available to be bought on the market, the homes that are listed for sale right now. So last month we saw, again, I'm looking at the Inland Empire. So here we also want to look more at the trend than the actual number. The actual number might not mean much to you, but the trend is more important. So for last month, there's 3,400 homes for sale in the Inland Empire, roughly, which was the same as the month prior, but less than a year ago, a little bit less. So a year ago, there were over 4,000. So what happens here is we're seeing a maybe slight decrease in inventory, but it's mostly steady right now. However, this has been kind of a big issue where inventory is low. So I'll kind of get into that in a second. So even though inventory is low, so we're seeing less sellers come into the market, pending sales has been increasing, which means that we have more buyers coming into the market. So this is partly also due to the decrease in the interest rates. Like I mentioned, more buyers, the lower the interest rates, the more buyers that can get into the buying pool. So that is partially also why pendings are increasing. This is actually really good for sellers. So now when we have less inventory, right? So if you're a seller, you have less people that you're competing against, but you have more buyers on the market, which means more people can buy your home. So that's actually a really good thing for sellers. So, that's kind of the 4 main points that we want to hit. I'll kind of wrap it up here a little bit in terms of if you're a buyer, what that means for you, and if you're a seller, what all this means for you. So if you're a buyer, we see that prices are increasing a little bit, inventory is down, and competition is up, right? So all of those factors are not necessarily ideal for you if you're a buyer. But don't get discouraged because, like I said, interest rates are going down, and that is a really great thing. So if you are considering buying, it is still a really good time to buy because your dollar will stretch farther. And all that you need to do, or one of the main things that you want to do, is align yourself with a good lender, right? That can get you the good interest rate and is going to take care of you, and a good agent that can help you write a good offer to compete in the competitive market that we're in. So again, if you're a buyer, don't get too discouraged. It's still a great time to buy. You just want to have a game plan going forward. So align yourself with the right people so that you can still make that goal happen for you. And if you're a seller, like I said, it's great. It's a great time to sell. Congratulations. We are in a seller's market. So that's really good news. If you're thinking of selling, pretty much everything is in your favor. Like I said, less competition from other sellers, more buyers out there to buy your home, prices slightly increasing, days on market slightly decreasing. So all of these things make it for a really ideal time to sell. So if you are considering selling, I would pull the trigger depending on your circumstance, of course, but this is a really good time to do so. Again, if you have any questions for us, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I will get to those. Even if you're watching the replay, it's totally cool. If you know of anybody that's thinking of buying or selling, feel free to share this with them so they can get that info as well. And again, do me a huge favor and comment below what city you live in. Whether you're watching this live or the replay, it helps us to know where our audience is coming from, helps us with engagement so more people can see this video, and we can kind of start targeting and narrowing in on those neighborhoods, which will be great and better for you. So thank you again so much for watching. Thanks, Julia, for checking us out. Again, we are the Realtor Family. I am Melissa, and we will do another one of these next month. So tune in for another real estate monthly market update, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, see you guys.